Just riding out.
I go Walmart, Jay.
Yeah, we might go to Walmart. Just riding out. Nah, we do. Here we go. You know, I love the grill. Oh yeah. Definitely up my alley. Of course, nothing new. Same old ones. Looking for Jessica Cruz. Still haven't found her.
Play-Doh.
Just kidding. You have this already?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get every time we come here. I was in 99.
Look, Annie.
Yeah, every flip flops I get, they're 99 cents.
This how the trunk looks after I finish grocery shopping. Here we go. Had to stop and refuel on the run. That is Popeye's chicken and Cajun rice. And of course my daughter had the mashed potatoes, which I wanted some of, but she won't give me none. All right. Had to stop and get some gas and definitely something to drink. You know that Popeye's chicken is hard to eat that biscuit without something to drink. Gas prices are not bad either. All right, let's do this. Any size for $1. Wow, so awesome looking. Be sure to check out my latest videos. One is Domino, the other is Demolition Man. You also have Fred Jr.'s Day Off. And one of the cooler ones is Dark Man, which is a shout out to Rayman and Mega Rod. You girls and guys be safe out there, and I will catch you later. Peace. And this episode of Direct Edition is brought to you by
Look at it. Look.
my fake Darth Maul from China. All
Look
right,
at
so you know how we do on this channel. Let's get into some comics. All right, the wife is at work, everybody's at school, but I got little Michael with me, but this is how we're going to do this. I'm just going to show you how I progressed in plugging in the holes and plugging in the gaps of some of my runs. So this is going to be a very, very cool video. The first plug in the holes and plug in the gaps has been DC Nation. Being the fact that I go to Second and Charles, they really don't have these like readily available. You have to like really search the store for these DC Nations. And I managed to actually grab DC Nation 1, 2, and 3. I think that's 1, 2, and 3. But very cool. The one in the middle is actually, I'm a comic book snob, so I like to collect my stuff very mint condition. The one in the middle is a little, you know, ticky and messed up, but it's all good. It's a free comic, so, you know, you can't complain. So this is my progression as far as DC Nation, you know, plugging in the holes and plugging in the gaps. So that's your first run that we're going to go over. let's get into some more stuff. So I always wanted to put a dent in my Doctor Strange run because I only had like two Doctor Strange books when I first started back collecting, and I think I've done pretty well. I have a couple of Doctor Strange, Doctor Stranges. I have a couple of Doctor Strange in the other part of the dungeon, which is the garage. But this is an old school crusty dusty. I know the go-to geeks like to collect the old school crusty dusties. This is Doctor Strange number 64 from 1983. And I won't even tell you how old I was in 1983, but I was a baby. And I thought this is a very cool addition to the collection in this part of the dungeon. Um, so yeah, it's actually an old school crusty dusty, very cool. And let me show you some more Doctor Stranges, or Doctor Strange books that I recently acquired. The problem with Doctor Strange is you have Doctor Strange and you have Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. So you have two volumes, which kind of are very cool, but it is what it is. All right, so let's do this. Okay, I think I've done pretty well. That is, the first one is me and Rayman actually have this comic book. It was funny because our videos came out simultaneously, and we both had picked up that Doctor Strange in the Defenders. And then from the previous videos that these three were given to me by a good friend, Thomas Churchill, the one in the middle being one of my holy grails as far as Doctor Strange books. And the last one I recently picked up, which is Doctor Strange versus the Silver Surfer, which is a very cool concept, very cool book. I'm just a big fan of Stephen Strange, and I think Marvel actually did an excellent job with that freaking movie. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's do some main events pretty early, and this is Harley Quinn number 47. Beautiful, beautiful sketch cover by Frank Cho. I'm a huge fan of all the Frank Cho sketch cover variants. All I have to do is just go to my dojo, which is Dave's Comics, and I can actually um, get all the variants, but that is very costly. So, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But eventually, me as the ultimate collector, just like my boy, the tattoo toy hunter, eventually I will, knock out that task, which is getting every last bit of Harley Quinn run from the Rebirth. So this is a very cool Frank Cho cover. I thought it was very brilliant that the only thing that they put in there with color was her hair, and very awesome. And this is your first main event, super early in the video. But not only did I pick up Harley Quinn number 47, but in my Glenn Webb voice, I definitely had to pick up Harley Quinn number 48 with the rock hard abs of Supergirl. Wow, let's see what she's saying because I can't really read this. I have to get a little closer. So it says, "Oh yeah, definitely photoshopped." And that is a very cool Harley Quinn Frank Cho version cover because it doesn't have the Harley Quinn logo. And you already know I have a pretty decent Harley Quinn collection. But if you don't believe me, let me show you how I plugged in the holes and plugged in the gaps. And here you go, my friends, all Frank Cho variants. These two are like some of my favorite. Vote for Harley Quinn, the yoga with the dog, very sexy. You just seen these two recently acquired comics. You have another Vote for Harley. And everybody knows this one at the end. This is the Halloween issue, even though it came out like way before Halloween. So very cool. Definitely love my Harley Quinns. This would not be Fred Hall Direct Editions channel unless if I bought you some Harley Quinns. All right, let's see what we got for our indie corner, because I definitely have to do an indie corner. I promised you guys that I will bring an indie corner every video. So let's see what we got. And so as I lay down the smackdown on all your candy asses, this is Valiant Election 2016 Special number 5, and it features Faith. Faith she quickly became one of my favorite superheroes because she breaks the norm. She's actually a plus size blonde hair, blue eyed beast. And I definitely love her. And the reason why I love her is because this is one comic book that my middle daughter, Ariana, is actually foaming at the mouth trying to get out of Daddy's collection. So I think after this video, I might just gift it to her. She's a big Faith fan. And yeah, that is your indie corner, Valiant Comics Faith. And I heard they're supposed to be making a movie about her, or she's supposed to have her own movie. So that would be very cool. But yeah, that's your indie corner. All right, let's get rolling. So as I'm listening to Hulk Hogan gravel in the background, this is a cool Aquaman #3. This is a variant cover. This is very cool. Definitely love Aquaman, Arthur Curry, and Black Manta. I think their rivalry is one of the best rivalries in comic books, besides Sabretooth and Wolverine and the Joker and Batman. I think more eyes need to be put on Aquaman because he's actually the king of Atlantis, and I would like to see him just mop the floor with Prince Namor from Marvel. So let's look at some of the other recent Aquamans that I bought to plug in the holes and plug in the gaps of my Aquaman run. And there you have it. And I must confess that since I've started back collecting, I went from having just 2 Aquamans in my collection to a bunch of Aquamans in my collection, and definitely am proud of the fact that I beefed up my Aquaman collection because he's a very cool character. And I definitely am in love with his wife, Mara. So you're not the king of Atlantis. I am because I want Mara. For my boy, uh, L comic book, Big Elbow. Yes, that is another one of my comic book baby mamas. I am like King Solomon. I have 300 comic book baby mamas, which are my wives. So there you go. Very cool. All right, so let's look at your background of Smackdown. This is Ghost #1. That's another indie comic. I had to point that out because I know you guys love indie comics. That is Ghost Rider #1 that I picked up from my flea market haul. That's one of my favorite hauls of all time because I actually got a lot of jewels in my collection. I plugged in the holes and plugged in the gaps and actually came out on top. That was one of the greatest hauls I've ever had. That's my flea market haul video. Then you have Ghost Rider #2 that I got for 50 cents. Very cool. You have Ghost Rider #1 from Clayton Crane. Clayton Crane being one of my favorite artists. Definitely love his Necrosha run. Then you have Ghost Rider #1. That's a wizard, like Wizard World one. And it actually came with like this certificate in it. And then just to plug in the holes and plug in the gaps. So your background, I got the Gambit versus Sabretooth issue, where I didn't know that Sabretooth actually took it personal with Gambit, and he actually killed one of Gambit's, what do you call it? He's part of the Thief Guild. He actually killed one of his partners, dropped him off a building, made Gambit choose between the girl and his friend, and I think his friend ended up dying. So that is very cool background on Sabretooth and Gambit. Sabretooth is one of the ultimate villains. Definitely love him, man. He's a total opposite of Wolverine. And there you have it. All right, let's get into some more comics. So this is the Incredible Hulk number 301 from 1984. I definitely want to get some more old school Crusty Dusties in my collection. And when I actually find an Incredible Hulk or Doctor Strange for 50 cents, which is, in the 1980s, 70s, 60s, I'm definitely going to pick them up, man. Definitely. And this one is in good condition. And this is the Incredible Hulk. I think he's actually fighting Loki in this book. I've skimmed through it a little bit just to see, if the pages were white or whatever. But very cool. So let me show you my recent pickups to plug in the holes and plug in the gaps of my Incredible Hulk run. And here's some of my recent pickups of Incredible Hulk. The one with him and Juggernaut locking arms, that is one of my holy grails as far as Incredible Hulk, even though he has a lot of books that I want to get. But that's one of them that I definitely wanted to get, and there's a couple more in that run that I need to get. But that is when Apocalypse actually turned the Incredible Hulk into war. So I thought that was a very cool concept. So the first one is you have the Hulk versus the X-Men, and then you have the Hulk versus this guy that kind of can warp reality, which is very cool. And as I said, you had Apocalypse, the Apocalypse Hulk, when he became the War. And then you have my newest pickup, which is the old school Crusted Dusty. Very cool. All right, let's keep rolling. And so we're at the point of the video where you ask me, hey, Fred Hall, Direct Edition, what are you reading right now? And this is what I'm actually reading. This is a very cool Deadpool. This is called Deadpool Dead Presidents, where he actually fights zombified American presidents that have been brought back from the dead. Very cool book. I cannot say too much about this book because you just have to read it for yourself. It's not as slapstick funny Deadpool, but it is still funny. And you just, when you read Deadpool and watch his movies, you really can't take yourself serious. It's actually for you to have a good time. But here's a very cool look at the front of the book. A very cool look at the back of the book. This is In Wade We Trust. Wade Wilson versus Abraham Lincoln. Every time I see Abraham Lincoln, I always think about Wayne's World when they said if she would be a president, she would be Abraham Lincoln. That's one of my favorite lines of all time. But very cool book, man. Definitely love this book. So here's a cool look at the back of it. And there you have it. Okay, girls and guys, let's get into your main events. You ready? All right, let's rock and roll. So you guys know I'm working on my Age of Apocalypse run, and I definitely want to get every single issue, which is going to be pretty hard, but I'm going to end up doing it. I give myself another, 2 years. And by that time, I probably should have everything that comes in the omnibus plus the companion. So this is Gambit and the Externals #1. This book is not easy for me to find, so I'm definitely glad to have this as my second copy. And let's look at some of the recent Age of Apocalypse books I've actually picked up. You ready? All right, let's go. Okay, and here's just some recent Age of Apocalypse I've actually picked up. So very cool. You know, I got Gambit and the Externals, and I got a run of the Age of Apocalypse. I think this is like the 10-year anniversary where they introduces Weapon X, or Wolverine's daughter. I think I'm only missing one out of that run. I even have the one shot. So very cool. There it is. So your last main event is going to be Batman #41. This is the first Jim Gordon Batman issue. I finally have this in my collection. I know I'm a little late, but definitely love to plug in the holes and plug in the gaps in my Capullo run, especially of the key issues. So very cool. Definitely love this as a main event. And yeah, there you have it. So let's look at some of the recently acquired Batmans in the collection. And here it is, some of the very cool Batman covers that I recently acquired. You know, you have I Am Bane, which is very cool. You know what I'm saying? You have the Capullo Batman. You have the, what do you call them? Lenticular covers. This one is Professor Zoom. If you allow my sexy fingers to interrupt your video. This one is Professor Zoom, Batman. Batman's dad. What's his name? I forget. Bruce Wayne. Thomas Wayne. Zoom, Thomas Wayne. That's very cool. And then you have the, oh, excuse me, I messed up a little bit. You have the other lenticular, which is Flash, Batman, Flash, Batman. So very cool lenticulars, and that's the actual regular cover. So there you have it. Very cool. All right, let's do this. And so, once again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Direct Edition. The channel is Fred Hall Direct Edition. Like, subscribe, and share for more cool videos. Remember, words of wisdom. Focus on the ones that show you love and on the ones that don't show you love. Hey, we're just going to keep on rolling without them. You girls and guys, be safe out there, and I will catch you later. Peace.